I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we're going to have a look at the major Ninneko gaming updates. So what's quite interesting is I participated in the Ninneko IDO on launch zone, so that's been a long time ago, I think 6 months, and I always kept quite tabs on this game. It's small, it's fun, there are definitely some opportunities. So if we look at the chart, it has been suffering quite heavily under the bear market. But if I show you the opportunities we had in the past, so for example, this pump, right? I have a video on this pump. I have a video on this small pump. So we've covered Ninneko on this channel several times. And I think 4 out of 5 times it has been extremely profitable. So from an investor's point of view, this is always your micro cap, right? So extremely high risk, high reward. It has a fully diluted market cap of 1.3 million, fully diluted only, and 453k on market cap. Volume quite low, $15,000, basically operated on Pancake Swap. I don't know if DigiFinex has the accurate data. I never really use that. I always use Pancake Swap for this one. So we're looking at obviously an opportunity which will present itself throughout a bull market, right? In this video, I just want to remember that Ninneko is still there, might be something for your list, and specifically cover the latest updates that Ninneko has been pushing out. Because even if you look at the website, they have made quite some adjustments. Most of these games, they basically deploy. There's relatively little updates, which reduces the longevity of the game because the user base is not being engaged how they should be. Let me play this video. Obviously, the users at some point, they need to continuously be entertained to stay and play the game. Although the earnings relative of the token might go down during a bearish trend, you still need players if you run a play to earn game. So when you lose the players, it doesn't matter the value of the token ultimately, because that will go down as well because there's less utility. Right? So the utility of that token is extremely important. A game that consistently comes with small, biggest updates. I wouldn't even say biggest during a bearish cycle. I think small updates is just fine. It gives the opportunity at least to keep the users engaged. So on this small update video, you see one of the biggest things that they've been pushing forward, and I think they are quite aggressively pushing right now, is to get the guilds involved, right? There's a call to action here, guild tournament, and it has like a specific sale on it as well. But they offer it for the App Store, Google Play Store, and APK download, Mac, iOS, and Windows. So nobody has an excuse not to play this if they want to, right? They basically everything else is still the same as we looked at it before, but what is important is they have now a news update, right? And specifically, I want to cover this major update. But when we look at the overview, you see that the guilds, additional reward structure, and there have been quite some NFT updates. So keeping the community engaged, apparently it's working, right? Going to the roadmap, right? You see that in Q2 2022, the Guild Wars and free-to-play extended feature. Obviously, with the launch in the first quarter, the market has basically been working against them, but still be able to deploy on schedule. This obviously being the most important milestone, I would say, this year, in my opinion, one of the big opportunities, and that's why I'm covering it right now. The NFT land sale is upcoming, right? The village building starts, and then, well, the NFT burn is not really super interesting for me. I am mostly covered on these two things. When the game is being expanded in terms of the enrichment of features, it keeps people playing. There's a big purpose for this land, and therefore it might have that opportunity. Once you look at like a relative other project, let me pull up Effin, for example. I looked at it before. What you could see is that there was a very clear pump when they did their NFT sale, right? You can see almost 100x if you sold, 1x if you sold at the top, right? The price doubled. So what I think on this Ninneko price chart, where the price is really low, but the volume is also low, right? The volume here is way higher and the diluted value is also way higher, which increases the odds, of course, increases the degen type play, right? But making an entry, even if it's just 100, 200 bucks, might be extremely rewarding when that land sale is actually being pushed out. For you to consider, do you want to mint land or do you perhaps just make the token play, right? So two-sided opportunity right here. So first of all, the game enrichment isn't generally a good thing. The NFT land coming up is a huge opportunity, but you need the token ultimately. There's not much information on it yet, but I assume they're going to do the sale in their own token or in BNB as their whole marketplace functions on the Binance Smart Chain, right? So when we look at basically the overview of the market, the Ninnekos, which is basically the little creatures, in the last 24 hours there were 164 sold, so definitely traction there still. You know, it's a free-to-play game nowadays, so to have a Ninneko, it's only $9. And it goes up. Obviously they become more and more expensive, right? You have like the rare ones which are still here we go. So it's like, well, this maybe is a little bit too crazy. I don't think this will ever get sold, right? But there might be some expensive ones, because the ones that I flipped myself, I have a video on that as well. I did a good like 2 or 3K profit on those. So definitely, as long as they're being utilized, it's useful. Then they added basically, since the last update that I did, the items and gems section. This obviously has to do with the game. As you guys know, I'm an investor. I don't play these games. I just look for the opportunity. So I'm not really into flipping these NFTs if I don't have proper knowledge about it. But the items are basically consumables, which is on the utility token, right? So not on the governance token. So the whole marketplace is on the Binance Smart Chain, but the items, which are basically consumables, are charged in Meta, which is basically here Meta contract address, which is basically their utility token and not governance token, right? So I assume that price, if we go to the PooCoin app and we run this through there, we would get the Meta token. Yep, there we go. You can basically see it's also quite volatile based on purchases, but people are purchasing it, which means people are playing the game, right? Which is quite important. Of course, extremely low market cap because it's a utility token and it's basically pegged against the relative performance of the Ninneko governance token, right? So you have to take that into consideration. But all in all, the biggest opportunity coming up is, of course, that land sale, in my opinion. Now, when we go to it's a sponsored post, we'll read it anyway. Ninneko launches free-to-play version for users to adventure into the NFT world. Okay, GameFi 2.0. So I would assume in this case you would have your Ninneko army, right, of these little Ninnekos, and then battle each other inside this universe. But now they basically become free-to-play. Obviously, it makes sense to attract more users, right? Users also have a chance to receive a maximum of 12 non-NFT cats. Okay, 3 free cats to begin with once you create an account starting July 25th. And then you unlimited breeding in game. All right, so the breeding is obviously a good aspect. So everybody now can earn, but they earn the utility token, right? So they earn the Meta token. Then you can breed your NFTs depending on which ones you do. You have a breeding fee, right? Again, the utility for the token. And they introduced more items. Then the box sale. So that is the one which is displayed here on the overview, which basically gets you these things. Not really sure what those are. When you buy a box, you can participate in 2 events. Okay, milestone to buy 1 box. Okay, you get the gems. And then the gems are utilized in-game probably to boost up your characters, right? So the gameplay definitely has been extended by these features. And of course, as I mentioned before, it's the relative difference compared to what other games are doing. And to be fair, obviously, I don't follow that many games. I just follow Ninneko because I'm holding a bunch of tokens from my vesting, which I haven't claimed. which I should probably look at. It's not a lot, you know, it's not thousands of dollars, but it's a fun game. We have made some good plays from the start. It appears that this is like one of these micro cap coins that just keeps doing well over time, as long as you give it some attention. So once a month, pick up Ninneko, have a look at the updates, have a look what the team is doing, fully doxed and everything. The partners have been solid. And ultimately what we want, or at least what I'm doing, right, what you will see me cover next on this channel is the land sale, right? So we have to be a little bit patient because it says Q3, and of course the third quarter has just started, but that is basically the biggest momentum. So when we look at the price, I would assume, you know, they got a little bit of new users. That was on the 25th, right? So some small spikes. Obviously, the market has been attracting as well, but that spill over to gaming and specifically the micro caps hasn't happened yet. So, of course, high risk, high reward play, but if you're sitting on some Ninneko, and I don't assume you have to buy like $1,000 worth, right? If you buy $100, I assume you will be able to participate in this land sale. Once the information comes out, I will cover it, but definitely an interesting opportunity even for the smaller investors. As always, do your own research. Ninneko looking very promising, improved gameplay, consistent updates, and the land sale coming up. This is everything for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to have a look. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.